Ahora, ¿cómo hablas de tu cuello cuando sé cómo funciona tu cuello de negro? Así que realmente me odias porque sois unas perras muy feas. No puedes dar... Las llaman adelgazante, pero he subido de peso. Me dicen que debería esperar, negro. ¿Esperar a qué? He subido de peso. Mira, es hora. Así que, si me ves con eso, perra, es mío. Cuando estas otras perras rapean siempre son solo rimas. Cuando yo rapeo, perra, siempre son 10 centavos. Deja de jugar conmigo. Tengo esos negros en la cárcel que me apoyan de verdad. Tengo esos negros en las calles que me apoyan de verdad. Tengo esos negros en el sur que me apoyan de verdad. Tengo esos negros en el mundo de las pandillas que me apoyan. ¿Y por qué miras mis zapatos? Te lo juro por Dios que estoy moviendo esas perras.
Something feels different about Claressa Shields. Not dramatically different, just enough that people can't stop talking. Every post, every appearance, every reaction is now being examined under a microscope. At the same time, Remy Ma seems to be winning the public narrative. Everything intensified when she unexpectedly dropped a diss track. No major rollout, no heavy promotion, just a release that instantly grabbed attention. Within hours, social media exploded. Fans broke down the lyrics, shared clips, and debated every message. Then the numbers backed up the buzz. The track quickly climbed the iTunes hip-hop charts and gained momentum across multiple categories, turning a simple release into a major moment. That's what made the contrast impossible to ignore. While questions and speculation continued surrounding Claressa, Remy was generating headlines through results. One side was dealing with scrutiny, the other with momentum, and in today's internet culture, perception moves fast. Sometimes the biggest victory isn't winning the argument. It's becoming the story everyone wants to talk about. She remained active online, but many viewers noticed a change. The bold confidence that once defined her presence appeared quieter, and social media quickly picked up on it. Then the conversation shifted back to Papoose. For months, he claimed he played a major role in writing Remy's music, saying he contributed heavily to the bars that helped build her reputation. That sparked a new question. If Papoose truly possesses that level of creative talent, why aren't people seeing the same results elsewhere? Critics began wondering why that influence wasn't translating into noticeable success around Claressa. The comparison only intensified. While Remy was generating headlines, chart movement, and constant discussion, people struggled to identify similar momentum on the other side of the story. And that's when the narrative started changing. It was no longer about who said what. It became about outcomes. Because on the internet, claims can start conversations, but results are what keep them alive. Critics searched for proof of the talent Papoose often credited himself with, but they couldn't find anything matching the impact of Remy Ma's latest release. The buzz, chart performance, and online reactions told their own story. That sparked a new theory. Maybe Remy's success wasn't dependent on anyone else after all. While she was generating headlines and momentum, questions continued growing elsewhere. To be fair, Claressa Shields has nothing left to prove in boxing. Olympic gold medals, undisputed titles, and record-breaking achievements have already secured her place in history, but that's where the problem begins. The spotlight has shifted. Instead of talking about championships and accomplishments, people keep focusing on relationship drama, rumors, and public perception. And once controversy becomes bigger than your career, it starts rewriting the conversation. No matter how impressive the resume, the headlines people remember aren't always the ones you worked hardest to earn. Sometimes the toughest opponent isn't standing across from you. It's the narrative that refuses to let go. Success in one arena doesn't guarantee respect in another. In music, you have to prove yourself, deliver results, and earn your spot. That's why people started asking questions. They saw Remy Ma's track gaining attention, watched the charts move, and then looked toward Claressa wondering what came next. As the silence stretched, the pressure grew. Critics weren't holding back either. Many argued that Claressa should focus on the lane she's already conquered, the boxing ring. Not as an insult, but because that's where her dominance is unquestioned. But once pride gets involved, everything changes. The conversation stops being about music and starts becoming personal. It's no longer about songs or statistics, it's about proving a point. And that's what makes this story interesting. The spotlight isn't on achievements anymore, it's on perception. Every move is analyzed, every reaction is debated, and every silence creates new questions. Because sometimes the hardest battle isn't the one in front of you, it's the one you're trying to win in the court of public opinion. Claressa Shields posted a gym video hitting the heavy bag, something completely normal for a champion fighter. But the internet didn't see it as just training. Viewers quickly turned it into a symbol, claiming every punch looked like frustration being released rather than routine practice. Whether that was true or not, the narrative spread fast. Then attention shifted from the workout to Claressa herself. People began analyzing her expressions, especially her eyes. Many commenters argued she didn't seem to carry the same confident, untouchable energy that once defined her public image. Suddenly, a simple training clip became something much bigger. Every movement, reaction, and expression was being examined for hidden meaning. Fair or unfair, social media had already created its own storyline, and once people start searching for emotions behind every post, the conversation stops being about what happened and starts becoming about what everyone thinks happened. That's when perception becomes more powerful than the video itself. People had already started noticing a different energy from Claressa Shields. Some viewers felt she seemed quieter, less untouchable, and more reserved than usual. Once social media picked up on it, every post, video, and expression became part of the discussion. As speculation grew, Papoose sat down for an interview, and that's when things shifted again. For months, fans had been building a narrative around a ring, assuming it meant an engagement or a proposal was on the horizon. Then Papoose addressed it directly, an engagement. No proposal. Just like that, a major piece of the story many people believed was suddenly thrown into question. What made the moment hit harder was how casually it was delivered, as if he was dismissing something the internet had spent months building up. And once one assumption falls apart, people start questioning everything else they thought they knew. Because in the age of social media, sometimes a single answer creates more questions than the rumor ever did. When engagement rumors came up, Papoose didn't leave room for interpretation. No jokes, no maybe later, no hints about the future. Just a direct denial that immediately raised questions. Claressa Shields had spoken about wanting a future and building a family, while Papoose seemed to shut down engagement talk completely. To many observers, it sounded like they weren't on the same page. Then another twist appeared. A photo of Papoose wearing the same wedding ring associated with his marriage to Remy Ma. The timing sent social media into overdrive. Suddenly, the conversation wasn't just about rumors anymore. People started questioning everything: the relationship, the timeline, and the narrative that had been built around it. Old debates resurfaced, new theories emerged, and every detail was put under a microscope, because when actions appear to tell a different story than expectations, speculation takes over. And once the internet senses a contradiction, the questions only get louder. Once a photo of Papoose wearing his wedding ring began circulating, the conversation exploded. People felt the image didn't match the story being told. The biggest question was simple: how do you deny engagement rumors with one woman while still wearing a symbol connected to another? Whether there was an explanation or not, the timing fueled speculation. Viewers went back to the interview and paid closer attention. Many noticed that whenever Remy Ma came up, Papoose seemed more guarded and less willing to elaborate. That alone became a talking point. Soon, social media users began interpreting the silence as a sign that unfinished feelings or unresolved issues might still exist. Men online added their own opinions, arguing that his behavior suggested he wasn't completely detached from his marriage. Fair or unfair, the narrative grew larger by the day. And once people start filling in the blanks themselves, perception can become more powerful than any explanation ever offered. And right in the center of it sits Claressa Shields. What really caught people's attention wasn't what was being said, it was what wasn't being shown. Viewers noticed that there hadn't been any recent photos, videos, public appearances, or visible moments featuring Claressa and Papoose together. In today's social media world, that kind of absence doesn't go unnoticed. People started counting the weeks and asking questions. The silence became part of the story. As a result, older doubts suddenly felt more significant. Critics argued that the missing public presence added weight to every rumor, every interview comment, and every piece of speculation already circulating online. From their perspective, the picture looked increasingly uneven. Remy Ma was generating attention, receiving support, and creating momentum. Papoose was facing scrutiny for what many saw as mixed signals. And Claressa appeared far quieter than the confident, outspoken version people were accustomed to seeing. Fair or not, that contrast fueled even more discussion. Because when one side is visible, another is silent, and the facts remain unclear, people naturally begin filling in the blanks themselves. And once the public starts writing its own version of the story, controlling the narrative becomes far more difficult than starting it. Claressa Shields is still visible, still active, but many viewers feel something about her energy has changed. Now people are asking what is really going on. Is this a genuine relationship facing challenges? Or was it never as solid as it appeared? The truth seems stuck somewhere between what's being shown publicly and what's being kept private. That's why the story refuses to die. It doesn't feel finished. It feels like another twist is waiting around the corner. Every post gets analyzed, every interview gets dissected, and every absence creates more questions. Some believe the internet is overreacting. Others think the signs are impossible to ignore. Either way, the speculation keeps growing. At this point, the relationship itself isn't the only story anymore. The mystery surrounding it has become just as big as the people involved. And until clear answers finally emerge, the debate will continue. Because sometimes the most powerful headline isn't what people know, it's what they still can't figure out.